Hi everyone, I haven't made a video in a while and I was looking through this hand history a couple of days ago and thought I might as well make a hand history review of it. It's a turbo tournament and I thought, and we run deep in this, turns out to end up being my biggest cash to date, and yeah, we can get into some interesting ICM spots and shove fold spots. So um, I'm starting relatively late on. Not much happens in the earlier stages. I was playing like 6 tables at the time, and and this is only a $2 tournament, and the rest were like $20 tournaments. And I was pretty much not concentrating very much. But yeah, most of them just standard folds. I doubled up with Ace King early on, and then blinded down a lot and doubled up with Queen 5 in the spot where I never ever should have doubled up. I I should have never been ahead when I went all in, and I was, and I doubled. Like, I was basically just messing around, and then I thought, oh wait, I've got a stack now, so I'll play properly. Yeah, that's where this happens, and we'll start with a bit of run goods, I guess. Guy limps. So right now there is 1450 in the pot, and we have pocket fives. This guy is often just going to limp fold. I can't remember if I had any reads on him or anything, but just as a general rule, in especially $2 huge field turbo tournaments, there's so many like high blind limpers that you can. They're just so easy to take advantage of. This tournament had 9,000 players, and on top of being only a $2 tournament, it's obviously a really soft field. So and people don't really understand the concept of being stack size aware. So all that into account, we just shove here. We're often going to take the pot down. If he calls, sometimes he'll have a worse pair, not very often. A lot of times he'll just have overs and we'll be in a flip for a double up. But obviously the plan is just to take the pot down and not get into any high variance situations. But as it turns out, we end up um, being a decent favourite to lose half our stack. But we get some run goods and almost double, really. Um, yeah, close to double. We would have still been in it with 10 big blinds. We wouldn't have been in disgusting shape, but obviously 13k is much better than 4k. Um, if I had a short stack here, like if I had like 5,000 here, 5,000 or less, I'm definitely just shoving the ace 8. Don't feel like I need to get into high variance situations by raising, by shoving, obviously, and raise folding feels a bit gross. Raise folding isn't actually terrible, but I guess I just opted to fold after winning a pretty huge pot. Um, we get ace 8 suited this time, and we do the same thing. And whoa, what the frick is that? Okay, 4-8 makes the call. Standard, obviously, not really. So as I was saying, terrible players in this tournament. Make a couple more standard folds, get the ace 10. Against that open, I'm probably just folding the majority of the time. Well, all the time really. And yeah, obviously after this shove over that raise, I'm just gonna fold, and that's a pretty awful raise fold, regardless of what he has, because first of all, if he's raising from fairly early position, he should always be willing to call a 10 big blind shove, really. And he's got a huge stack, and he shouldn't really be raising 3x. So all that, I could almost guarantee you he's a losing, pretty awful player. Yeah, so we get the 7-9 next hand, and there is 1300 in the middle, give or take, and so that'll add over a tenth to our stack, and this guy's often going to fold, and you know 7-9's not the worst of equity against a call. Get 7-9 again. It's mostly about just shoving now. A lot of players at this stage, the obvious thing with a lot of donks is that they're gonna play quite loose in the early stages when they have a lot of blinds, and quite tight in the later stages, and that definitely rings true here. And throughout the whole tournament, I pick up so many blinds just by shoving and adding like a 10th or an 8th or whatever onto my stack. Um, had it folded to me here, I probably just fold. I don't really want to raise call. I don't mind raise calling these two, but I think chip conservation when I've got a stack like this is fine. You know, if I had 6k or whatever, 7k, even 8k, and it folded to me here, I'd definitely just shove the king 10. And if anybody's interested, like I usually am, apparently the king queen wins. King jack under the gun, we're just gonna fold here. I'm wondering, I, th I think I'd fold this. I'd shove this with the 10 big blinds or less. I think with like 12 or 13 big blinds you can afford to fold, but with 10 big blinds or less I'm going to shove this even though it's under the gun. Because you're often just going to need to pick up blinds to keep fold equity. I might fold with 10 big blinds. It's quite close, it's quite sketchy. Definitely with 8 big blinds or less, probably with 10 big blinds or less is sort of what I'm going to be shoving there. And I don't know, queens play that terribly. I guess I just fold. Turns out I would have taken this guy's stack, but results orientated. Yeah, raise in front, just gonna fold. Some limpers, 10-2, just gonna go through the hands. Ace 4 into the gun's gonna be a fold there, of course. Blinded down a bit, and the blinds have gone up, so all that into account means now we have like 15 or so big blinds, and with 2 limpers this is a absolutely perfect spot. This is sort of a dream spot just to shove and like try and pick up the 3700 chips that are in the middle. And obviously if one of the blinds calls us, we're probably in pretty grim shape, but if one of the limpers calls us, we're never usually in that bad a shape. Obviously occasionally somebody will limp aces or kings, but that's only usually going to be the original limper. Very few people over limp aces or kings, so really the only guy we're ever worried about is this guy, and he's usually just an idiot who likes to be a limp tard. So if somebody limp calls us, usually the worst we're going to be up against is going to be like a small pair, and we have fine equity against that. And of course most of the time I'm just going to fold, and guy limp calls us with king 10 because he's an idiot, and he flops the 10 but we river the jack, which is what we like to call justice. This is an interesting spot. I'm not. It's quite close. I'm not quite sure what I like best here. I very rarely open shove 24 big blinds, but I'm pretty sure that's what I do here. Yeah. Let's see. There is 2600 in the pot. So it's got to work. So it adds 10% onto our stack. So it's not terrible to just shove. I mean, deuces. We're gonna fold out like against these two big stacks. We're gonna fold out like pocket 3s and 4s and 5s. I'm guessing. Pocket 6s plus might call us. Maybe pocket 6s are fold, but I don't really see pocket 7s plus folding because they know I'm not really like open shoving aces, kings, queens, whatever with 24 big blinds. At the same time, a lot of what they're gonna call with a beat over is like ace queen, ace king, ace jack. We have perfectly fine equity against that. It's pretty close. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of the 24 big blind open shove. If it's negative EV, it's not that bad, but raise folding against these two stacks in particular could be better. I have a pretty crappy sheet draw actually on this table, but being results orientated, it works, and we take it down. So yeah, raise folding could be better there. Obviously, open folding is not really an option. If I had like 20 big blinds on the dot, I think a shove's fine. But 24 is a tad excessive. Now that the blinds have gone up 2 more levels since the last time we played, I'm perfectly fine open shoving. You know, like how many big blinds do I have? Much less than 20, about 17 big blinds is my first guess. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, I'm perfectly fine open shoving that for all that money in the middle with king jack suited, blind versus blind. and this guy min raises, which is I guess a tad scary, but not really. As I said, most of the people in this field are idiots, so we're just gonna shove on the min raise and expect to fold most of the time. He makes a retarded call with king 10. Well, I mean, he probably should have just opened shipped, I guess. Maybe he went in with the plan of min raising and calling every stack apart from him. I'm not sure whether I give him enough credit to be thinking on that level, but either way, once that guy flat, my range is not quite as weak as it would have been. So, especially since this guy's got like 5 big blinds, and then that guy folds, which is terrible. It's like, obviously that makes no sense with any hand whatsoever. And we fade the king, which is good, and we double again. And we're probably one of the relative big stacks of the tournament. Probably like, you know, top 10% or whatever. And then we just get a dream when he shoves ace jack into our bullets, and we fade. He flops a gut shot but misses. Let's see here. Guy limps. There is 7k in the pot. We have 80k. The only guy we're ever scared of calling really is this guy. Like if he calls, we're probably in pretty bad shape because he has a 25 big blind stack. I'm fine with the shove there though, really. This guy's gonna limp fold a lot, and like I said, if he calls, he's gonna have a small pair quite often, and we're gonna have pretty decent equity. We don't get involved here. The ace-8. Let's see, stacks behind. Yeah, that's a perfectly standard shove over 2 limpers, and I'm guessing they all just fold, and that's just adds so much onto your stack. It's ridiculous, and people don't even take a stand that often. I just raise, put everybody all in. We get the 4 big blind stack calling goes, which is fine. And we don't take them out, but that doesn't matter. We still have a huge stack. I guess I'm just gonna open shove the king 10. If this guy had like 80k plus, I'm probably not really shoving. Well, yeah, if we have similar stacks, it's quite close actually. I'm not. No, king 10's fine there. Let's see. Yeah, there's 10k in the pot, and yeah, it's fine. It's absolutely standard. To be fair, don't know what I was saying. But if we had like 100k and he had like 100k, then it's obviously not a shove. Which is why you can get